selected, this is your first Jamaican squad. Give you an easy question for the first one. How excited?
We're excited to. We can't wait for Monday. That's when it starts. We coaches, we're not about press conferences. We're not about watching this and watching that. We're about football. We're about getting players on the training field, playing games, and getting to win or lose or draw. That's our life, and that will start on Monday. So that's what I'm excited about, in anticipation of that. Two very difficult games, but as I said, there's a lot of expectation on Jamaica. Number one in the Caribbean. That brings pressure from the fans. We understand that, but we need the support also from that. We get the support from the federation, the support from everybody. We all are aligned in one direction, and that short term, I say short term, 2 years, is 2026, the World Cup, but also in the longer term as well.
And coach, second question to you, and maybe if the president wants to come in on this, the fans would have awoken yesterday to some news from the selection of the England squads that Omari Hutchinson has been named in the under-21 England squad, and that Morgan Gibbs-White, who we had been courting as a country and fans, etc., has been named in the senior national squad. The A part A to that question, could you tell us, share with us as much as you could, your talks and negotiation with either of those players? There's no problem if we fail, but what was the effort that was made? You could tell us that. And outside of that, if you could just update us on the progress with other key EPL heritage players, the likes of Tyreek Mitchell, Kyle Walker-Peters, Max Aarons, as much as you can. I know this talks are a lot of times private.
I think it's simple, and I try to keep everything simple. In one respect, you're right. It's about recruitment, looking at heritage players on one side, and it's difficult because on the list that I have, about 50 names, but many of them are 23, 24 and under. Good young players, and their ambition, as they're born in England, is to play for England, and that is right. So it's very, very difficult to recruit them type of players. So we're looking at more mature players who come to that point of, okay, I may not play for England, but there's an option. So that's what we look at. And I spoke to many of the younger players as well. And yeah, the likes of Kadamata, the likes of Hutchison, and they're good enough to wait for England and think they're good enough. That's a fantastic attitude. So that, on one respect, recruitment of heritage players is difficult, but on the other respect, from what I've seen with the 14s, with the Cavaliers and with Mount Pleasant, is the quality of the Jamaican players is improving. So that's the key, is that we have to improve our players on the island. We have to improve the league. We have to improve the competition. And you can see the progress that's been made in terms of that. I mean, I watched the game last night, and all my staff were so impressed with the Cavaliers, so impressed. The young players playing against very, very mature men, dominating the game, and in the end, 4-1, dominating. You've seen the 14s. How can you win a final 7-1? So this job is twofold. Yes, get the best players that we possibly can in the short term, and yes, let's improve the young talents that are there. And what the Federation is doing, Andrew Burt, Wendell, and Mr. Speed, is they're giving youngsters a chance, and that's the key to it, is giving youngsters a chance in the competition, because you never know what they can do. And look what they did last night. So, yeah, like I said, I remember, I said before, like 3 years ago, working with FIFA and the TDS, what could happen in Jamaica is happening. We're just here just to help that process and improve it even more.
Coach, MG Sports, based off the profile of players that you have selected, have you already identified a particular brand or system of football that you plan to deploy these specific profile of players in?
I spoke to Mr. Speed at length about the culture and the Jamaican player, and that's why it was great to see the game last night, because we saw it. We saw it. One, attitude. That's the key. Attitude. If nobody has attitude coming into this squad, nobody has attitude and shows attitude on the field, attitude to work, not just for themselves, for each other. No one has attitude. No one wants to run. You won't get in the team. You have to have attitude. You have to run. You have to do that. You have to have talent. And the talent that we see, I'm just giving last night as an example, because the pitch was difficult. It was dry, and I know it's difficult. But the talent, the ability, dealing with the ball, keeping the ball in tight areas, was great to see. So dealing with the ball, attitude, dealing with the ball, being brave, wanting to take the ball. And the third thing, what's the strength of the Jamaican player? Speed, athleticism. And I think we saw that last night. I've seen that in the games that I've watched. That's a real strength. So that's they're the three things in which we work around in terms of a philosophy. Now, systems might change. It's nothing to do with it, systems. Yeah. It's the principles, it's a philosophy. And the philosophy is attitude, be hard to beat. Take care of the ball and use the speed. Because on transition, what I saw last night and what I've seen Jamaican teams is speed. So speed on transition is vital. So we have to.
Not Rudolph Speed.
Yeah, Mr. Speed. So that's key. We get them three things. That's the philosophy.
I'm coach, not to crowd the questioning. It's just a follow-up to Mr. Walker's question earlier, and you were asked if you would be domiciled or what in Jamaica, and you said you would basically be living out of a suitcase, and that is understandable. One of the perceptions in the past is that, we can't settle off on a time when we settle off on a squad, settle off on players. Is there a time frame in your mind as to when a cut-off point is, as to when you'll be looking for players, looking at players to fit? Because time is short, 2 years, within 2 years is the World Cup. Is there a time frame in your mind as to when you'll be cutting off and say, these are the players? We know the other one or two might pop up in terms of talent and out of nowhere. But, could you speak on that, please?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's never a cut-off. We're always looking. We're always looking for the best players. Players that can improve our team. Players that can improve the squad. And I think